You know, I didn't get as much resistance under Bush with people saying, arrest me, shut me down. I got some of it. And you know why I don't like Glenn Beck? He said, arrest people that are these 9/11 truthers. He said they're terrorists, they're dangerous, we need the Army to watch them. Showing he was reading internal Homeland Security reports that later became public under Obama. Yeah, that stuff was put out under Bush. The MIAC report and the Homeland Security report. See, it's bipartisan. And he came out, and so did MSNBC. They said, taser the 9/11 truthers, arrest them, don't let them stand on street corners. And they staged an event where they came out of the shadows in New York with a lady in a wheelchair, ran it into German Talus. Thank God the Secret Service wouldn't lie on the stand and admitted that actually they'd attacked him, and the whole trial fell apart, and he was found not guilty. Yes, we have people coming out of shadows with wheelchairs on us. I have feds coming up and asking me if I want to attack the State Department, you know, and if I said yes, I'd be arrested instantly. Or if I even joked around and said, oh, sure. This is real, ladies and gentlemen. And so, but even though Beck's an operative, they are using him as a case point example. In fact, it may even be his job with his $50 million contract to be destroyed. I don't know. But now he's a figurehead for free speech. He must be defended. You understand that? I don't think Savage is a figurehead. I think he genuinely believes the stuff he says. I agree with about 80% of it. The point is, when they tried to boycott him and tried to ban him from England, I came out in support of him. Even though he'd called for arresting anti-war demonstrators. It doesn't matter. I support the anti-war people. I support Glenn Beck. I support the Black Panthers, some of their groups saying, you know, all whites are evil. Of course, that's foundation-funded racial division to divide and conquer, but liberation theology. But I will just expose it. Because if I take their right away, if I take a Nazi's right, there are some Jewish extremist groups that call for my arrest and stuff on YouTube. I don't call for their free speech to be taken, because if you take anybody's free speech away, it's over. You're supposed to let free speech go to ridiculous lengths until you call for violence on somebody else. And then it's even protected if it's in self-defense. You understand? So we have this absolutely anti-American, anti-liberty, anti-Renaissance, anti-freedom Soviet commissar who just absolutely makes me sick, who talks about racial division, black nationalism, which was funded by the foundations. They said 100 years ago, on record with Margaret Sanger and others, on record, they funded W.D.B. Du Bois and others, E.B. Du Bois. This is all on record. That how do we get blacks to leave? We can't force them back to Africa. They said fund black nationalism, make them stay separate. That's why real white supremacists should love the Ford Foundation. You should love black nationalists. And actually, the Klan and black nationalist groups have had joint meetings together. They go, you stay in your group, I stay in mine. And I'm not up here preaching everybody to go get intermarried. That's your issue. The point is that this is what it is. And so you see these guys that say blacks stick to themselves. They're just as racist as a grand wizard. I mean, why not call these people what they are? And that's what see, now you start talking to them like this, they melt like the witch and the Wizard of Oz, folks. You come at them and say, I'm not a racist. How dare you say I'm not allowed to criticize the president? How dare you say socialism's racist? That's ridiculous. And then say, oh, I love black people. I promise I like you. You're playing in. You go, no, you're a poverty pimp, race pimp, who wants people to think about race on every issue. You're trying to chill free speech in America. You're trying to make people get at each other's throats, you son of a bitch. I've had enough of your racist crap. I want to live in peace with people. Excuse me, but it has to be said. And that's what people like Van Jones do. I challenge him to come on here and debate me and to be a man and not to be a foundation-funded race pimp who works for the White House and works for Nancy Pelosi, that gangster. I'm calling you out, you coward Van Jones. I'm calling you out, you race pimp, you limousine liberal, you people funded by the eugenicists that are killing and aborting your own people. I'm calling all your groups out. I know exactly what you are. I understand exactly what you're doing. And I want you to know I see you. I see you. And I know you see me. And I know you're afraid, because you should be afraid. I bring liberty and light and freedom and vengeance against corruption. You understand that? And the American people of all race, colors, and creeds and religions are rising up to your tyranny. All right, we're just about 6 minutes away from opening the phones up and taking your calls at 1-800-259-9231. I mean, it's so outrageous how the Soviets and the Communist Chinese and others always use racial, religious, or tribal divisions to play people off. Whatever group is dominant, they go to the other sub-tribes or districts. It could be black on black, Muslim on Christian, people from the South against the North. They play divisions off. And they all know exactly what they're doing. They're fully 100% conscious of it. I mean, I read the article earlier on air out of the Times of London, where they're saying you're not allowed to say it's a dark day or a black day. You're not allowed to say right hand. That is considered racist now. And it's meant to make you think about, if you say, hey, I need to screw a light bulb in, or I think I'm going to paint this wall white, or, yeah, there's a bunch of toothpaste on the ground. Everything you say, you think about race first. It's meant to, when you're not even thinking about it, it's meant to make it a kingdom of racism and division. And then these guys are the self-anointed high priest of this new superstition. They're going to tell you what can be said and what can't. You can't say you're against the health care, government health care. You can't say the word socialism. You can't say Obama's a liar. You can't show Obama as the Joker. You can show Bush. Because we, the high priest of this new superstition, are going to tell you what you can and can't do. I mean, this is mind control. This is re-education. This is how the Soviets took over Europe, Eastern and Southern areas of Europe, and Central Europe. I mean, this has been done. People that know history know exactly what this is. And that's why I'm upset. I mean, they really mean to take our guns. They really do. If they could do it, they'd line you up and shoot you in pits. I mean, they really would. I don't think they're going to get that far, but if they use the flu, they might. I mean, these people mean business, folks. They are real. They mean big business. And their business is killing and enslavement. And then I read about this Van Jones boycotting Beck, shutting down his free speech and getting rid of 30 plus of his sponsors. If we don't all stand up with Beck and stand up with others that are being boycotted, these psychological terrorists are going to destroy our free speech in America. And, of course, I attacked Beck when he was trying to restrict my free speech, attacking me by name before. So as bad as Beck is, he's being used as a sacrificial goat to set the precedent. So you better defend this little creature. And this Van Jones is just outrageous, absolutely outrageous. He has a group called The Color of Change. I mean, it's all about race. See, it's about color. It's about division. It's about balkanization. Before I end this hour,